Well, folks, we are back again. We do apologize for that glitch. We apologize for that glitch with ESCOM putting the power back on and back off again. That kicked us off the system. But FC, we are about to go racing as the lights go green here at the Hungaroring, and a lovely start off the line there by Graham Stephen. He's side by side there with Juan Ferrari, and Luke Lucchesi is sitting way there on their left-hand side as they work their way into turn number one.
That was a brilliant start by Graham Stephen, moving up into that second position off the start. Johan Ferrari retakes the lead as the whole field battles it out there for positions, but it is Ferrari leading from Stephen, then Lucchesi, Ati Nagel in fourth, Sandra Bakari down in fifth, then it's Hubert, Jaco Steins in there as well, Herman Lazarus in eighth, Peter van der Spey in ninth, with Renier Hubert rounding off your top 10.
Well, look at those 488 GT3 Ferraris, all nose to tail, and it's Johan Ferrari from Graham Stephen, from Luke Lucchesi, Ati Nagel, Sandra Bakari, and the man in P6 there, namely Peter Hubert. Right on his case is Jaco Stein, Herman Lazarus, Peter van der Spey, and Renier Hubert rounding off the top 10, and just outside the top 10 in P11 is the 75 Ferrari of Colin Plitt.
Yeah, Colin Plitt out there in the 75, but riding on board with your race leader, it is Johan Ferrari, who's in total control of this race. He was in a monster livery out in a qualifying, but it seems like he actually got the same problem we had with the power going off and on again, and not being able to get his livery back on that car in time. But in a second position, that is now Luke Lucchesi in the Red Bull car. He managed to get past Graham Stephen and reclaim that second position as Stephen drops down to third, and Stephen being chased down by Ati Nagel.
Yeah, Ati Nagel is right on it as well. Ati Nagel sitting there in that fifth position and crowding the back end there of the Graham Stephen number 9 Ferrari. There is Graham Stephen in that third position. He's all over the back of Luke Lucchesi. Johan Ferrari, 148.772. He is the only man that is under 1 minute 50 at this point in time, as this whole crocodile works its way into turn one.
Yeah, putting down his authority in this race from an early point in time is Johan Ferrari leading this race ahead there of Lucchesi. Lucchesi sits there in second place with Graham Stephen in third. Then behind Stephen, it is Ati Nagel. Ati Nagel being hounded there by Sandra Bakari in the red Ferrari in that fifth position. Then Peter Hubert finds himself in sixth place with Jaco Stein having moved up into that seventh place.
Yeah, Jaco just in there behind Peter Hubert. There is Jaco Stein sitting out there in car number 1 in P7 with the Volt sponsorship on the side of that Ferrari. And he is all over the back there of Peter Hubert, the 13 car. But back to the man that sits out there in P1, namely Johan Ferrari. Well, as FC said earlier on, he lost the monster color scheme, but how fitting for a red Ferrari to sit out there in P1.
Yeah, very fitting for a red Ferrari. But Graham Stephen, he finds himself in that third position. He's about 1.6 seconds now off the back there of Lucchesi, but Ati Nagel is keeping him very humble, just 0.6 of a second between them, with Sandra Bakari also applying a lot of pressure there on Nagel. Then it is Peter Hubert, Jaco Stein riding on board with him now. That pack is starting to pull away from 8th place man Herman Lazarus, who's about just under 2 seconds behind that pack, with Peter van der Spey right on his case.
Well, that is an awesome fight out there for Nagel's 4th position. As a matter of fact, make it Graham Stephen's 3rd position, because now Ati Nagel is all over the back of Graham Stephen. And I just picked up there that Luke Lucchesi has just posted the quickest time, FC, as we have a look at the replay of Willem Pinaar getting it all wrong.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of guys being involved. Yeah, a whole bunch of guys involved in that one. Let's have a look at that again. Willem Pinaar out there in the number 57 car. What happens there? Just gets whacked there by the 222 and then the 22 involved there as well. So quite a few guys involved in that one. Yeah, Swayze Hubert, I think he's the guy with the bazooka. Yeah, the bazooka car, the 22 car of Swayze Hubert was involved in that one, clipping it with the tail end of that Ferrari. And the guys won't be happy with that one.
Yeah, one Camage was the other one in that the 222. So it's a Camage, Hubert, and Pinaar. They were the 3 drivers involved in that situation, as you see there on the replay. But all of a sudden, Johan has got his monster color scheme right back again. and you'll feel more at home now with that Monster Energy color scheme on that 488 Ferrari GT3. A replay here at Jaco Steyn, and that's track limits there by Jaco Steyn, and right in there behind him you see that blue car of Herman Lazarus. But back to reality again.
Yeah, remember the guys having they're allowed 17 transgressions to abuse track limits. If they do 17, they get a drive-through penalty, and whoever collects the most of those transgressions will have to race with the pink livery. We'll see some of the pink liveries out there a little bit later. But Peter Hubert finds himself in that 6th position. Just ahead of him is Sandro Bakari. Bakari is just a 0.4 of a second behind Ati Nagel, keeping him very, very honest as all of these guys fly around the Hungaroring.
Oh, Sandro Bakari under braking, closing right up onto the back end there of Ati Nagel. As a matter of fact, Graham Stevens sits 2.6 seconds behind Luke Lucchese. There's no ways that he can go after Luke Lucchese. He needs to keep at least 4 cars in there behind him. There is Sandro Bakari with the Fiat sponsor on the side of that 72 Ferrari of his Sandro Bakari. Right behind him is a Peter Hubert, but back to the man up front. Have a look at this, 0.7 of a second between Ferrari and Lucchese in this fight out there for the lead, and they are getting away there from Graham Stephen in 3rd position, who is 2.7 seconds behind the Ferrari-Lucchese combination.
Yeah, that's that whole train behind them. It comes through there with Sandro Bakari in 5th place. Behind Bakari, Peter Hubert and Jaco Steyn. But the closest battle at this stage of the fight is between Mike Verrier and Ian Riddle and Andre Steenkamp. That whole group is very, very tight. And Reinier Hubert now closing on the back of Herman Lazarus as well.
Yeah, that's that fight for the man that sits in 11th position's spot. That is Colin Plitt. He sits out there in P11. And he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that is racked and stacked in there behind him. Andre Steenkamp is 0.5 of a second behind Mike Verrier, who was 0.7 of a second behind Riddle. He's 1.1 seconds behind Teens, and just ahead of him is McCarthy. That is all over the back of Colin Plitt, and that is that train that you're looking at there that's making its way through that left-hander, and they all want Plitt's 11th position.
Yeah, Colin Plitt will definitely be in trouble there once that whole train catches up to them there. Andre Steenkamp riding on board with him. He is one of the guys that put his hand up. He didn't have the most transgressions at the last race, but he put his hand up and said, listen, I cost somebody their race last week. I'll do a pink livery this week as well. So, hello, Kitty. Hello, Andre Steenkamp.
Well, the official man in pink this Wednesday is Reinier Hubert. He's the man that is officially in the pink car for this one.
Yeah, but still riding on board there with Andre Steenkamp, having a lovely look at the back end there of Mike Verrier ahead of him. Let's have a look what's happening down the field. Johan Ferrari leads with Lucchese in second. Graham Stephen now starting to fall back along with the rest of the pack, as Lucchese does not allow Ferrari to get away too far, but the man on the move at this stage of the fight, Sandro Bakari, is still glued right onto that back bumper of Ati Nagel.
Yeah, he's only 0.2 of a second. That's nothing between himself and Ati Nagel. That's in that 4th position. But Peter Hubert and Jaco Steyn, they're the two of them come into view just in there behind that 72 car of Sandro Bakari. So, going a bit wide, there's Ati Nagel. Is that pressure from Bakari? Because now all of a sudden, Bakari is side by side, and Bakari not giving up in that fight for that 4th position of Ati Nagel, but Nagel holds it for now. And watch out, because here comes Peter Hubert.
I was about to say, while Bakari and Nagel scrap it out for that 4th place, Peter Hubert, he's catching a whiff and say, hey, I want in on this action. He's right there by them. Those 4 cars in your shot right now, they're all in it for that 4th spot.
Yeah, Jaco Steyn is in that fight as well. It's a massive, massive fight out there for Nagel's 4th position. And they're crowding that back wing there of the Ati Nagel Ferrari. And here comes Bakari once again. But Ati Nagel says, no, the pressure's going to get to him. The pressure gets to him. He goes high. He goes wide. He makes a mistake. And now the two of them are side by side. And surely now Bakari must get that position. And yep, yeah, into the lead of that group goes Sandro Bakari. But Nagel not giving up.
Nagel definitely not giving up. This is all-out war here in this round of the Sports and GT Master Series, as Bakari has now gotten through. But now Nagel's in trouble because Peter Hubert is right there by him. They were side by side coming into the corner. but Nochel just eked it out and stays in that 5th place. But Peter Hubert and Jaco Steyn not giving up. They want a piece of the action too.
Yeah, Jaco Steyn's part of that fight as well. As we go back to the man that's sitting out there in P1, Johan Fourie, 1.2 seconds ahead there of Luke Lucchesi. Last Wednesday when they did the touring car race, it was a lovely win out there for Johan Fourie when we had the iRacing Masters touring car. And now he's back out there in that Ferrari. This time, not that easy because Lucchesi is all over him, only 1.2 seconds behind Fourie.
Yeah, they are very, very close to each other. But you can see Johan Fourie is taking it a little bit easier. He's a lot more smoother. Lucchesi at this stage of the fight, we can see when Lucchesi ran wide just now, he's really overdriving that Ferrari to try and keep up to the back end there of Fourie. It's pretty evenly matched between these guys. And it's going to take a big mistake to hand it over to one or the other.
You can see the last lap there, 144.8 for Johan and a 144.9 for Luke Lucchesi. And they're the only two drivers in the high 44s. There's Graham Stephen in that 3rd position, 3.8, nearly 4 seconds behind the Fourie-Lucchesi combination. But he's got the best seat in the house. And FC behind them, or shall I say behind him, comes that fight between Sander Bakari, Atti Nagel, Peter Hubert, and Jaco Steyn in there behind this man you see there, Graham Stephen.
Yeah, a man who's having a horrible race at this stage of the fight is Peter van der Spy. He's in the pits and dropping down the field, so I wonder what went wrong there for Peter van der Spy. But riding on board with Peter Hubert at this stage of the fight, he's out there in 6 minutes. Oh, somebody went off there. Let's have a look what happened to Peter van der Spy. Just got it out into the kitty litter, put it into a spin and planted it in the wall in the louder classic cars. But somebody had a massive... That was Jaco Steyn. Oh, man. Jaco Steyn rolling it off onto the grass after a massive, massive impact into the barrier.
Well, that Volt Ferrari is in trouble now. He's dropped all the way down to 15th position as Jaco Steyn. But there's the man in the Red Bull colors, Pantera Racing's Luke Lucchesi, that is there in that 2nd position with Graham Stephen, 3.7 seconds behind him. And 4.9 behind him is Sander Bakari, but he's still got Atti Nagel and Peter Hubert to deal with. With Lazarus 8 seconds behind that combination of Atti and Peter Hammond sitting there in that 7th place.
Well, Sandro Bakari is loving this race out. The Italian boy out in a Ferrari. You can't get it better than this. And he's got a little bit of breathing space behind him towards Nagel. Nagel's the man under attack there from Peter Hubert. Just 0.3 of a second between them. And under braking, almost going to the back of him is Peter Hubert. And as Frankie said, Herman Lazarus out there in 8 seconds behind them. But Reinier Hubert is going to make a move. Reinier Hubert makes it past Herman Lazarus.
Yeah, that's fight we're seeing there. That was the one that FC was talking about off screen. The one you're looking at there now is still Peter Hubert all over the back of Atti Nagel, and they all over the back of Sander Bakari. That's 4, 5, and 6 that you're seeing there in your screen. Going into that right-hander, it is Sander Bakari, Atti Nagel, and Peter Hubert, P4, 5, and 6. And Bakari is being hassled heavily there by them. But Reinier Hubert, that now made that move on Lazarus, he's still got Lazarus in there behind him, FC, and the 75 car of Colin Plitt. So that fight is not over yet.
Yeah, well, Hubert definitely picking up the pace now, pulling away from Herman Lazarus and from Colin Plitt. Colin Plitt is getting closer and closer there to the number 69 car of Herman Lazarus, but at the same time he's got Stephen McCarthy to worry about as well, because McCarthy no slouch behind the wheel.
Well, Ian Riddle down in 12th position has got Andre Steenkamp. Oh, another mistake here by Jaco Steyn. Remember, you're allowed 2 quick fixes, of which he's used. I saw one of them in that first incident, but I don't quite know how many more of those he's got left. But Johan Fourie, he's got no problem out there. He has got Lucchesi behind him, 1.4 seconds, and then nearly 5 seconds behind Lucchesi is Graham Stephen, and just over 5 seconds behind Stephen is Sander Bakari, and he has still been hassled heavily there by Nagel and by Hubert.
Now then, 8 seconds down the road is Reinier Hubert in the pink car with Herman Lazarus dropping down to about 1.7. And Colin Plitt dives up on the inside, but that sends him shooting out onto the runoff area, and he's going to give that position back to Herman Lazarus, and that brings Stephen McCarthy back into play.
Yeah, Stephen McCarthy and Robbie Teings comes into play as well, and not too far behind them is Riddle, that's lost that position to Steenkamp and then goes back again, and then Steenkamp retakes that 12th position. So these guys are having their own little fight out there, Ian Riddle and Andre Steenkamp for that 12th position. And while this is happening, Mike Verrier has now joined that Riddle Steenkamp fight as well.
Yeah, Mike Verrier joining them in the 8 call 24/7 Rico Barlow World car as they continue racing out here. Willem Botha currently in 16th place. A very quiet race from Willem Botha so far. Behind him, Willem Pienaar in 17th position. He's about 7 seconds down the road and being hassled there by Wayne Camage.
Yeah, Wayne Camage only 6/10 of a second behind the Pienaar. But that fight raging on here for 4th position. Oh, and Nagel gets it wrong, and Pieter Joubert comes through. Pieter Joubert comes through, takes that position away there from Atti Nagel, and now Nagel running wide in that corner, went into that left-handed too hot. That is the second last corner of the Hungaroring. Now through the final corner they go as they race and start their 10th lap.
Riding on board with Andre Steenkamp in the 46 Hello Kitty car out there. He's currently sitting there behind Ian Riddle. Riddle finally made that move a stick and starting to slightly pull away. Not that much as somebody peels off into the pits. That's Colin Plitt that dives into the pits. Is that for a pit stop or is there damage?
Well, 16 minutes into 40. You would think anything between 20 and 25 minutes they would pit stop. All depends the amount of fuel they got. But yeah, definitely in the pits there is Colin Plitt.
Johan Engelbrecht's also had a very, very quiet race up until now in the black 99 Ferrari. He's currently sitting there in that 14th position. All quietly moved himself up all the way into that 14th place. Andre Steenkamp battling it out there, trying to make a couple of moves, but still chasing down the likes there of Ian Riddle. But he's got Engelbrecht chasing behind him. He's Engelbrecht just 1.7 seconds and gaining as Andre Steenkamp makes it past Ian Riddle. Riddle made a mistake.
Yeah, he's moved up now into 12th, and now Steenkamp goes off the circuit there. Well, there might have been slight contact there.
There was.
I saw that Ferrari's nose just lift up and down there of Andre Steenkamp. So he's going one-on-one there with the Captain Morgan sponsored car, and all while this is happening, it has brought Engelbrecht into play, and that's the replay of all that you see on your screen there.
I wonder what happened to Peter Joubert. Just got a track limits notification there. That's what that replay showed us.
Yep.
But Engelbrecht runs it wide off the circuit as Andre Steenkamp is in that 12th place. Engelbrecht there behind Riddle. He's having his hands full here in that black Ferrari. Let's have a look what happened here. Tried to make a move there on Riddle and just ran it completely wide into that corner, just carrying too much speed.
Yeah, kept his foot flat down there on that loud pedal and just kept on going. So back to the man up front. 1.9 seconds behind ahead of Luc Lucchesi is that man you see out there, and that is Johan Fourie, and there's Lucchesi, Mr. Pantera Racing's Luc Lucchesi in that second position, and he's quite comfortably just hanging on to that, just under the 2 seconds behind Johan Fourie, but they are both getting away from Graham Stephen, and still this fight continues between Sander Bacardi, Pieter Joubert and Atti Nagel. With 7 seconds behind them, we've got the 6 car there in P7 of Reinier Joubert.
Yeah, Reinier Joubert having worked his way up to 7th with Herman Lazarus in 8th. Behind him, Stephen McCarthy in the
Milwaukee
sponsored Ferrari right there behind Herman Lazarus. Robbie Teings still hanging in there as well, keeping the guys ahead of him honest. Any mistake from the 2 guys ahead of him could still get him a position higher than top 10 at this stage. Mike Verrier 5.8 seconds down the road in 11th, with Willem Botha another 6 down the road.
Yeah, Mike Verrier in the 8 call 24/7 and Rico Barlow Racing, and here comes Willem Botha. And then behind him is that 99 of Johan Engelbrecht, who's 2 seconds behind Botha. And then nearly 11 seconds behind them is Wayne Camage in that 11th position. And Ian Riddle sitting in there in 15th. But Riddle is having a lovely fight out there with Willem Pinaar and with Captain Peter van der Spy.
Yeah, Peter van der Spy busy fighting his way back up the log as he had a bit of an offer earlier on. Now he's stuck there behind Willem Pinaar. Pinaar making the Ferrari very wide, and he gets his nose up on the inside. Luckily, there was no contact between the two of them as Captain Pete works his way past Willem Pinaar and now sets his sight on Ian Riddle.
Got a replay here at Atinagel. Is that a mistake or track limits? I think it might just be, well, it's a mistake.
Oh, well, he got
out on him.
He just got one wheel onto that grass and it just completely sent him into that spin as he tried to correct it coming back onto the tar, and that's going to cost Atinagel dearly in this race.
Yeah, that'll cost him. He's all the way out of that fight. Well, he's still in 7th position. He's Atinagel, so he hasn't lost out too much. But there's Robbie Teings. He's all over the back of Stephen McCarthy. He's all over the back there of Herman Lazarus. And they want that P8 there from Lazarus, does McCarthy and Teings. That's Stephen McCarthy in the Suzine property and SS Racing. And he's got that Milwaukee sign on the side of his car. Milwaukee is a power tool company in the States. He's Milwaukee, and he's got that on the side of his Suzine property and SS Racing Ferrari.
Yeah, Stephen McCarthy trying his best to stick to the back end there of Herman Lazarus. He's doing a pretty good job of it, but Lazarus not putting a foot wrong in that 8th position at this stage of the fight, making it very, very hard there for McCarthy. But that brings Robbie Teings into it as well. Robbie Teings just 0.6 of a second off the back end there of Stephen McCarthy. That is the closest battle at this stage of the fight as the rest of the field starts spreading them out, with your race leader 2.1 seconds ahead of second placed man. That's Johan Ferrari over Luke Lucchesi.
And they're closing up there on the man in P7. As you can see, that's Atinagel. And they're going to get right to him very soon. Here's McCarthy all over the back of Herman Lazarus, the man of cheapercars.co.za, and he moves to the left as McCarthy moves to the right, under braking into turn number 1, and through goes Stephen McCarthy on him. Oh, and there's contact. There is contact between McCarthy and, Nagel and Teens.
That's not Nagel, that's Lazarus and Teens.
I mean Lazarus and Teens, sorry, yeah.
I can imagine that Herman Lazarus cannot be happy with that one.
That's
a
Luke.
mistake by Luke Lucchesi. That puts him into a spin into the barriers. Here comes Graham Stephen. Stephen now has a chance to catch up and catch that second position again.
Well. Drama out there. Lucchesi still in that second position, but only 2.6 seconds ahead of Graham Stevens. So we'll have a look here. This is that incident that we saw earlier on with involving Herman Lazarus and
Robbie Teings.
Robbie Teings in the 5 car. That's quite right, yes. With Herman Lazarus coming off second best there.
Well, something happened to Rainier Hubert. He all of a sudden just ran very, very wide as well. And that's opened the door for Stephen McCarthy as Lucchesi goes into the pit lane to try and fix that car. And that opens the door for Graham Stephen.
Right, so now he is in pit lane. There you can just on your screen see the Pantera Racing number 14 car come through. Rainier Hubert, some track limits, and then way off the circuit. And then does a swapper in the ASAP sponsored Ferrari.
So is that a case of get back on track as soon as possible?
Correct. Correct.
Who knew that Gary Fleming still had it in him?
Well, Lucchesi making his way back out of the pits, and he's all the way down there in that 5th position. But now, what to do if you are Johan Ferrari? He's going to have to pit sometime, and so will the others. And that will then play into the hands of Lucchesi to hopefully make his way at least back up into that second position.
Well, Lucchesi's going to have to put in a monster session to get anywhere near the top 3 at this stage of the fight, I think. But anything can still happen. There's still a round of pit stops that need to happen as well, with Johan Ferrari leading them 10 seconds ahead of this man in the Gulf Oil colours there, Graham Stevens. Sandro Bakari in 3rd, with Peter Hubert sitting in 4th position, 1.5 seconds behind Bakari.
Yeah, then behind him, we have got Luke Lucchesi. That's in that 5th position. That's trying to make a comeback, but he's 14 seconds behind Hubert is Lucchesi. Then Stephen McCarthy in P6, and here we go, because he's got Rainier Hubert and Robbie Teings for company there. Hubert 8/10 of a second behind McCarthy, and Ting 6/10 of a second behind Rainier Hubert.
Mike Verrier currently holds that ninth position. He's a 4/10 of 4 seconds behind eighth place man Robbie Teings. Behind Verrier, Herman Lazarus. So let's have a look here. What happened to Willem Botha and the How's It Ferrari? Oh, just got it onto that grassy area again, and just sends it into a spin off. Luckily, it's quite a big runoff area in that area, so you can escape without any damage on your car and rejoin if the track is clear.
So he's back out there on track again. There is that man in P9 in the Rico Barlow Racing Equal 24/7 Ferrari. That is Mike Verrier, and he's just behind this group that we're looking at there of Stephen McCarthy, Rainier Hubert, and Robbie Teings, as they make their way around the Hungaroring. And Rainier Hubert and Robbie Teings not too far behind the Milwaukee-sponsored Ferrari of Stephen McCarthy, with 25 minutes done, FC almost 26. So one is beginning to figure this lot out now, that if pit stops is going to happen, it will probably be round about now.
Yeah, just to show you how much Luke has lost with his trip to the pits there as Ian Riddle dives into the pits. The guy's averaging about 1 minute 45s. Luke's last lap was at 2 minute 9 seconds. So that's how much it cost him. That was about, 24, 25 seconds that cost him after making the initial impact there. So quite a bit of a mountain to climb there for Luke Lucchesi, as he currently finds himself in that 5th place. Biggest gainers at this stage of the fight, Willem Botha is the man on the move, having started down in 21st position and now finding himself in P11.
Yeah, and the biggest loser so far is Jaco Steyn. He's dropped down 10 positions, other than Eugene Manouk, that is out of this one. But we all saw that incident with the Volt Ferrari, and that's dropped him all the way down. As a matter of fact, he's moved up 1 position now, as Jaco Steyn has got his nose ahead there of Andre Steenkamp. So Johan Fourie is sitting out there in P1. Rainier Hubert is in the pits, and in 2nd position is Graham Stephen, and 3rd is now Sandro Bakari.
Yeah, Sandro Bakari in that 3rd position in the bright red Ferrari, as we ride on board with Graham Stephen in the 2nd position, as Lucchesi tried to make a move there, or was that a quick lap time that he put up? I'm not too sure what that was. Let's have a look what happened to Andre Steenkamp. There's a replay here for him in the Hello Kitty car. Oh, just got it offline onto that green strip. This is the same spot as Lucchesi, so that being a tricky part of the circuit.
Well, no problems out there so far for Johan Fourie, as he's going to put a lap there on Willem Pinaar. Pinaar just keeps right out the way there, and Johan Fourie makes a move there. Into that right-hander goes Johan Fourie. Then he's got the left-handed hairpin. Swayze Hubert is also there in the pit lane. And then a little bit of stomp on the gas before you come to that final corner, and Fourie goes through. Fourie goes through to start another lap.
Yeah, there he's going to go and start that next lap here. 28 minutes done in this race, and what can I say? This field has been shaken and stirred quite a little bit, as Graham Stephen finds himself in that 2nd position, one of Stephen's best races in a long, long time. Behind him, Sandro Bakari also having a brilliant race, not putting a foot wrong. He's 6 seconds behind a 2nd place man, with Peter Hubert also 1.3 seconds behind a 3rd place Bakari.
And then 13 seconds behind them in that 5th position is Luke Lucchesi, as Stephen McCarthy is in pit lane. Stephen McCarthy is making his way down the pit road in the Suzine Property SS Racing Ferrari, and he will lose out there to Mike Verrier, as Mike makes his way through, and Mike moves up into that 7th spot.
Yeah, Robbie Teings and Mike Verrier got past Stephen McCarthy when he dove into the pits. It'll be interesting to see where they come back out when they dive into the pits. Herman Lazarus, Willem Botha also making it past McCarthy, putting a little bit more traffic between themselves and the rest of the guys, as it is a nice move here from Willem Botha up on the inside. Goes Botha with a How's It Ferrari on the inside of Herman Lazarus.
I just said, how's it, Herman? I'm out of here, as he puts the move there on Herman, dropping him down now into that 9th position. A bit further down, That's the one I was going to talk about. Yes, Peter van der Spey has got Colin Plitt there for company, and only 7/10 of a second between van der Spey and Plitt for that 14th position, as we ride on board with Plitt and Johan Ferrari making his way into pit lane for his routine pit stop 30 minutes into this race, and Graham Stephen also making his way into pit road.
Yeah, you'll find that pit row is going to become extremely busy right about now as everybody's going to dive into the pits. Has that mistake helped Luke Lucchesi? Will he have to pit, or did he do everything he needed to do when he dove into the pits as he comes around that corner now? I think that's the second or third last corner. There he comes into the final corner now is Lucchesi. Will he be able to reclaim the lead in this race? Will he have to pit again as everybody else is still stuck there? Peter Hubert leads this one. Johan Ferrari already out of the pits, and Lucchesi only going to come past now.
Yeah, Sander Bacardi is also there in that pit lane as Luke Lucchesi works his way up now into that third position. We watch Graham Stephen come out, and here comes the 5 car of Robbie Teings, working his way out onto the circuit, working his way around the circuit, and Herman Lazarus working his way into the pit area.
Well, we've said it before, we'll say it again. Peter Hubert is leading the race. And hasn't put a foot wrong at this stage of the fight, but he will be diving into the pits pretty soon. That is the man leading this one in that yellow and black Ferrari. It is Peter Hubert. He's 6 seconds ahead of Johan Ferrari. Lucchesi 6 seconds further down the field, which means Lucchesi's done pretty well to only have effectively lost about 4 seconds with that accident.
So at the pit stops there in the top 10, Robbie Teings has not pitted yet, Mike Verrier has not pitted yet, and neither has Johan Engelbrecht. Otherwise, everybody else has made their pit stops. So yeah, Peter Hubert is going to have to make his way into the pits, and he will then lose that lead to Johan Ferrari because he's only 5.8 seconds ahead of Ferrari is Peter Hubert.
Right, Lucchesi currently sitting in that third spot. Behind him, Graham Stephen in a fourth. Then Robbie Teings is right behind him, 2 seconds down the road in that fifth position. Sandro Bakari currently in sixth, hoping that Robbie Teings will dive into the pits. Mike Verrier currently in that seventh position. We have seen people try to eke out a run without having to dive into the pits. For some people it's worked, for some it hasn't, and I think Robbie Teings, there he goes now, so that'll then hand that fifth position back to Sandro Bakari.
Yeah, we've seen in the past that drivers have thought that they could make it, and I think the very first person ever to try that was Mike Verrier, and it didn't work out for him. Sandro Bakari was another driver that also tried it, and this is sometime last year, and also realized, but if you have to pit, you need to pit. Right, so Willem Botha moving up now into that seventh position as Robbie Teings is making his way out of the pit area. Johan Engelbrecht has now put that 99 car in the pit lane as well.
That means the only two people to not have stopped, or three people shall I say, or two, is Peter Hubert and Mike Verrier. Is Mike going to try it again with only 7 minutes to go in this race?
Well, he's going to be a brave man as Engelbrecht works his way down pit road, back out onto the circuit again. Peter Hubert and Mike Verrier will be two very, very brave candidates if they're going to have a go at that. I don't know, because Ferrari is 5 seconds now behind Peter Hubert, and I don't know if he hasn't pitted by now. Well, surely he must come in now. Surely, and he does.
Yeah, there goes Peter Hubert. Now the question is Mike Verrier gonna come in, or is he gonna go past? There comes Johan Ferrari through the final corner. That means he's gonna retake the lead in this race pretty soon. Next man through, Luke Lucchesi, who can be very happy with himself that he did not lose out a lot more with that incident that he was involved in. Graham Stephen, the next man through, in fourth position. They'll all come flying past Peter Hubert and reclaim those positions.
So first, second and third will be order restored for Johan Ferrari, for Luke Lucchesi, and for Graham Stephen as Mike Verrier makes his way into the pits. 34 minutes done. There's 6 minutes to go, and Willem Botha in the 301 Ferrari, also working his way into pit lane.
Oh, Willem Botha, I was hoping that he would be able to stay out because it shows he's had a pit stop already, but
Yes.
I guess that was to fix damage. Let's have a look here. What happened to Suez Hubert? Oh, same thing. Oh, almost same thing. Just had to climb onto the brakes extremely hard, and then the tail end just steps out in that corner.
Well, lucky to catch that one. Willem Botha will be making his way out of the pit area. So, 35 minutes basically done. 5 minutes left on the clock for Johan Ferrari, Luke Lucchesi and Graham Stephen. If Ferrari doesn't make a mistake, I think this one is in the bag for Johan Ferrari. I think first, second and third is pretty much guaranteed to end the way they are unless they do something really silly out there.
Yeah, I also believe that it is how it's going to be as the rain starts pelting down in Cape Town, but it's sunny and shiny out there for Ferrari in Budapest, in Hungary, out on the Hungaroring. 7 seconds ahead of Lucchesi. Lucchesi 7 seconds ahead of Stephen. Stephen 4 seconds ahead of Peter Hubert, but he's in trouble because here comes Sandro Bakari.
Yeah, we might have 5 minutes left, but I think that fight for fourth position is not over yet because Sandro Bakari is crowding the back end of that Peter Hubert Ferrari in that fight for P4 and 5. Through the final turn they come now. Who will be quicker and on the gas? Who will be the fastest out that corner? That is the question. Who will be later on the brakes into turn number 1? Will it be Bakari or will it be the man ahead of him, Peter Hubert? We'll have a look and see as we have the 2-0 coming out of pit lane. And that is the bazooka car that's making its way back out onto the circuit once again.
Yeah, that was Suez Hubert making his way onto the circuit there. But Sandro Bakari has got slightly warmer tyres and he's also burnt off a little bit of the fuel already. And he's going to try and make a move on Peter Hubert. Hubert keeping him very, very humble in that fourth position as we now ride on board with Peter van der Spey, who finds himself in that 11th place, just 7/10 of a second from behind Mike Verrier.
Yeah, he wants that last, the top 10 positions, does Van der Spey on Mike Verrier, and Colin Plitt, as a matter of fact, is part of that fight as well. Colin sits there in that 12th position, and he's 0.8 of a second behind Van der Spey.
As the seconds and the minutes count down here at the Hungaroring for a Sports and GT Masters Series. What a race it's been. The guy still battling it out there as Herman Lazarus finds himself in 15th place as Jaco Steyn has made up another position and moved up into 14th place.
Yeah, Jaco Steyn made that move there on Lazarus, demoting him down into P15. This is some track limits here for Johan Engelbrecht in that 99 Ferrari, as he keeps on going once again. But there is the man up front, approaching 2.5 minutes on the clock for Johan Ferrari, with 7.8 seconds separating himself and Luke Lucchesi in that second position.
But thinking about it, he just came down the main straight with 2.5 minutes. That means he's probably going to have to do 2 more laps unless he can hold back just enough. But you're going to have to hold back like 15 to 20, 25 seconds not to start another lap in this race, and that might put you in danger there with Luke Lucchesi right on his tail. Ati Nagel currently in 6th place, coming around the final corner to start his next lap as we start heading towards the closing stages of this race.
But FC, there's only 1.2 seconds between P4 and 5. Peter Hubert and Sandro Bakari will pick that one up before we get to the checkered flag. As you see Stephen McCarthy coming through there in that 9th position. Mike Verrier in there behind him. Peter van der Spey in there as well. And then the 75 of Colin Plitt rounding off the top dozen.
Yeah, Colin Plitt out there in the 12th position. Willem Botha. Ooh, let's have a look here. What happened to Stephen McCarthy? Got that rear wheel on the grass and then ran wide coming out of that corner. And that would give him an X on the track transgressions.
Yeah, track limits there for him. 38 minutes and 45 seconds done. There's 1 minute and 15 left for Johan Ferrari. You'll probably have to do 1 more lap. And then, yeah, that's the final corner. There's pit lane on his right-hand side. The 39 minutes is up, so he will have to do 1 more lap around the Hungaroring.
Yeah, the last lap starting there for Johan Free, flashing lights, saying, I've got this one in the bag and get out of my way, Mr. Is that Pinar?
Willem
Yeah,
Pienaar,
Willem
yes.
Pienaar ahead of him. Luke Lucchesi chasing him down. He's got a mountain of a job to do. 7.7 seconds, almost 8 seconds. He's not going to be able to make any difference there unless there's a massive mistake from Johan
You
Free.
just see the man waving that white flag there saying, guys, this is your final lap.
Last lap to go here at the Hungaroring in Budapest in Hungary. Sandra Bakari having had a brilliant race. He was up in that 4th position for so long, but Peter Hubert must have had the most amazing couple of in-laps just before he came into the pits, because Bakari had that 4th position sealed, and then Hubert did enough to hang on there. He is ahead. Let's have a look here. Peter van der Spey trying to make a move on Mike Verrier. Verrier could be in trouble here on this last lap.
Yeah, this is for that last spot in that top 10 between Mike Verrier and Peter van der Spey, as he's now a second behind him. But let's go back to that man up front. He hasn't put a wheel out of line for 40 minutes, Johan Fourie, and this is his last lap. He's put the lap there on Willem Pienaar, and now he's cruising that Monster Energy Ferrari around this track towards victory lane.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything fancy. He has got a big enough margin as he goes into the second last corner. There we go, into the last corner. It is Johan Fourie in the Monster Energy Ferrari, and he's going to cross the start-finish line right about now to get his win at the Hungaroring. It is Johan Fourie.
Luke Lucchesi coming home in second position, 7.5 seconds behind. Johan Fourie is lucky to get that second place after smacking that barrier very, very hard. Graham Stephen comes home in that third position, 8 seconds behind Luke Lucchesi. Then Peter Hubert, 5 seconds behind him, finishes in fourth, just ahead there of the man that rounds off the top 5, 1.6 seconds behind himself and Peter Hubert is Sandro Bakari.
Yeah, Bakari coming home in that 5th position. Now it is Ati Nagel coming around the final corner in that beautiful white, blue and green Ferrari. He brings it home in 6th position with Robbie Teings right on his case as well. He brings it home in 7th. Rainier Hubert having had a brilliant race out there in 8th position with Stephen McCarthy and Mike Verrier basically crossing the line together just ahead there of Peter van der Spey with Colin Plitt, Willem Botha. Then Jaco will be the next man down 14 seconds down the road.
Yeah, the first 12 cars ended this one on the lead lap. Here comes Jaco. Might even be the first 13 cars. Either way, it don't make no difference. No, I think it's more. It's about 16 cars that will end on the lead lap. Yes, it will be, because Camage will be the last man on the lead lap, and he will be in that 16th position.
Yeah, Wayne Camage bringing it home in 16th, followed by Willem Pienaar, Ian Riddle, Swys Hubert, Johan Engelbrecht and Andre Steenkamp.
Yeah, and unfortunately a retirement there for Steenkamp and for Eugene Manouk. Well, it is everything that we expected and a lot more. Well done to Johan Fourie, Luke Lucchesi and Graham Stephen. They are the drivers that will be on the podium.
Yeah, big congratulations to those three. Peter Hubert having done a brilliant drive there to make it up into 4th after it looked like Sandra Bakari sealed the deal for that 4th position. Unfortunately, missing out to Hubert there was Bakari in 5th, with Ati Nagel in 6th, Robbie Teings in 7th, Rainier Hubert in 8th, McCarthy in 9th, and Mike Verrier rounding off your top 10.
Yeah, Peter van der Spey just out of that top 10, followed there by Colin Plitt, Jaco Steyn, Herman Lazarus, Wayne Camage, and then Willem Botha gets shown on the lead lap, and those are the only 16 cars that finished on the lead lap. Everybody else was 1 lap or more down.
Yeah, and that then brings you to the end of tonight's racing for the Sports and GT Master Series, coming to you from the Hungaroring in Budapest in Hungary, and we're looking forward to the rest of the series. Same time, same place next weekend, or next week, shall I say, coming to you right live here from the Plattekloof studios of Second Gear Productions. Guys, it was an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was a good one, and a big thanks to Gary Fleming from Second Gear Productions for doing all the live streaming for us. And we will see you people on Sunday for the 6 hour. And that's going to be another good one. In the sense, I want to see, Gaza, is Durant Motorsport going to make it 3 out of 3? You can bet your bottom dollar they are going to try their level best.
And Jason Kinsey having had a bit of a problem and being the slightly erratic driver in the Durant Motorsport, I think he's going to be a little bit under pressure to go one-on-one with the likes of Umpi Swart and get right to the front there with the Julian from the RS as well. That one starting at 2 o'clock, 6 hour race it's going to be, and definitely not one to be missed whatsoever.
And I know for a fact that Luke Lucchese doesn't only just want to win class, he wants to go after Durant Motorsport. He has verbally said he wants to go for them. So it could be good stuff.
I think Luke's going to get himself a first-class partner, and I think he's going to say, let's not worry about the Masters. Let's go out and out to break the domination of Durant Motorsport. Who is he going to have with him? We're going to have to see. I think it's probably going to be the likes of Luke King that will join up with him. Also got a massive, massive heritage in iRacing. FC, closing word from your side.
Yeah, lovely to have been here with you guys this evening. Looking forward to next week. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the 6 hour, as I'm not too sure what time I'll be back from the West Coast side.
You can watch it on YouTube. It's all live.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it. Unfortunately, I can't make it to the studio to come join you guys. But yeah, we'll be back here next weekend, or next week. Why do I keep saying weekend? Next week, Wednesday, for the next round of Sports and GT Masters. Take care, everybody.
And for the people that's going to Kalani on Saturday, I will see you there for the Rallycross. Have a lovely week further, and from my side, goodbye.
From the Second Gear Production Studio, good night to you, and thanks for joining us, one and all.